go grab them and bring them home, you know, but.
Call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew?
Here.
Mr. Kramer?
Here.
Mr. Menegini?
Here.
Mr. Marraro?
Here.
Mr. Pop?
Motion to excuse Mr. Pop.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. We'll move on to approval of the agenda as presented. Did anybody have any questions? If not, I need a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented. Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Approval of minutes, regular meeting of July 17th, 2023.
I move that we approve the meetings of the regular meeting of July 17th, 2023.
Support.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Move on to the manifest 2023-15. Did you have any questions, Brett?
I have none, thank you.
Jeff?
I have none there.
None.
All right, I have a couple. Let's see what I did with that. I think I left that. I'll have to get back to you. I left it at home. I had them marked.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that. Do I have a motion on manifest 2023-15?
I'll make a motion to approve manifest 2023-15 in the amount of $642,342.82.
Support.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Any previous manifest questions?
I don't believe so.
Public comment. Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on any item of interest shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Agenda items. Anyone in attendance wishing to address the council on an agenda item only shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes. We have none, so we're going to move on to discussion action items. Item number 1, electric department cold storage improvements.
Scott Hagee was unable to be here tonight. He has a week-long drill for the Air Force. This is for the garages that are across the street
What do we
from the electric building where the salt is stored. Is my understanding they are utilizing those for their equipment. And according to Scott, those garage doors haven't worked in some time. And we did have that in the budget to replace those 3 garage doors. If you don't know where it is, I have it on the map. It's right here is the utility, electric department building across the street. It's this building right here. They do use this yard for a lot of storage of other equipment. So that is the request tonight, is that they did have that in the budget to replace those 3 garage doors, and they do have some concrete work related to those doors which they think they can do themselves.
I was wishing Scott was here tonight. He isn't. I was kind of hoping David was.
David was supposed to be here. Hopefully he will be arriving. He did tell me he was supposed to. We're going to be in attendance tonight.
Because this was brought to us before and it was voted down.
Okay.
And it might have even been brought to us 2 times and it was voted down, and I had some questions on that. Brock, that's not just the electric department, right? That originally that was the DPW's
Right.
storage.
Yep, there may be the leaf sucker, they do share it a little bit, I can't tell you exactly. what's
That's
on
okay.
there, Yeah, there are some street department equipment in there. And the
Yeah.
only door that works would be the overhead on the gable line. So their idea is, and I'm not speaking for it, this is just, there's 3 doors that don't work, so if we can back in off 10th Avenue, utilize those 3 doors instead of taking everything out of the shop to get to the wire or whatever.
Right, and we had extensive conversations about this before.
What year was that, just so I can go back?
I don't remember, and I think it was voted down twice when we talked about it. I wasn't here last week, poor excuse, but I would've got with, David and Scott to talk about this. I didn't have a chance to do that because I wasn't here. Kinda disappointed that, I kinda feel like sometimes it's a chess game. Oh, if we bring it back again, we're gonna vote for it, you know, you were gonna forget about that stuff. I don't forget.
Do you remember what the
I
reasons
don't
were?
remember exactly all of it.
Was it, you don't know if it was an over budget thing or?
It wasn't, or, it was, no, it wasn't about that. It was about, do we really need that on there?
Like we love to say, just because it's in the budget doesn't mean we have to approve it and spend it.
And I
How
know-
much, how often is that building even used? I mean, are they in there 10 times a day? 1 time a day, 2 times a week?
That's something we'll have to ask, I don't know the amount of use they
Yeah.
have. buildings.
I don't know. and-
I do, Kenny, I do remember as well.
You do, I was gonna say, I know Scott was here, and I think it might have even been before you came here, it was voted down.
Yeah, I thought we voted it down or time
Well,
too.
it was way
Yeah,
before,
oh,
no,
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about before Jeff was here and there was,
Here comes David, we can ask him. What's the number on that? I got 3 books, but not the right one.
don't say
It was 10 something. 13,669 garage doors in concrete.
Good, I'm looking for you. Oh. David, we're at the garage doors, I know Scott ain't here tonight, and that was not, what you were asking for, but I think if you remember, we voted that down once or twice already on them garage doors, and that is not just the electric departments.
No.
That was originally the DPW's.
Right, but we're both using storage. and
That's-
Everything gets packed in there, so the doors face the north already, okay, the frames are there. We need to put doors on it, then we can park our stuff and pull out. Because right now we're buried, we got to pull the whole thing out on 1 main door. We can't get access, you know, there's just
Why do we gotta do all 3?
2 or 3, it's, you know, your discussion, I mean.
Right.
3 makes
I
it
think it's
easier.
because they're packed through the whole building, so they have to open up one door, remove all, and then bring stuff from one side.
How often we use that building, Dave?
From, I would say all the time, all year long, even in the winter.
Once a day, once a week, 6 times a day?
More than that, I mean, a couple times a day, right now, our water inventory's all in our.
I remember this now, Kenny, that's when they were saying that because of the situation, they have to move stuff out of the way to get to what they needed and back stuff back in.
They always did it before.
I was here, but I do remember, I was here for one of the times we voted it down, yes, I do remember that.
So I guess what is I guess I'm not really sure what the concern, other than,
The $13,000, that's the concern.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
concern, it's
Yeah.
money.
I mean,
Yeah,
we just went through
understand that.
our 2 toughest budget cycles ever, and we need to make sure this stuff needs to be,
so
you
it's
know,
just, I just wanna make sure what.
Correct.
It's the financial aspect.
Yep.
of it, That's all it is.
that's all it is.
Okay.
And that's all it is for me, and I really do get irritated with, the chess game, that's what I feel like. You bring it, we say no, you bring it back again. We say no, oh, let's wait a year or so and bring it back again.
In their defense, I don't remember exactly what they told them, if we told them to bring it back or not.
We did not.
Okay, and I don't remember
That
that
I
part,
don't.
so.
And I
I'm just
will
making
say,
my point, I'm just making my point.
If it's a financial concern, I typically will, we will bring things back year to year if it's based on financial constraints. It is something we would typically,
That, it wasn't,
Bring that.
it was not financial,
no, okay.
and it's being brought back.
So it's not financial.
No, we just didn't think the money could be used for that, because they always did it before, everything wasn't always in there. I don't know what's in there, because I would've liked to went down and looked at it Because at that time, when I looked at it, yes, it might take you a few more minutes to move the stuff around. I don't know what it looks like, because I was on vacation. I like to go down there and look and see.
It's fenced in the yard though, isn't it?
No.
Isn't that the new salt area?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, we got beautiful fence around that, right? Gates, automatic gates?
No automatic, but that's coming.
Yeah, but that's coming, we approved that too. So why can't you leave some equipment in the yard when you know you're gonna need it? If you're gonna move it out, and you're gonna use it next week.
Most of it's like holding equipment, things like holes on wheels, stuff like that, that's in there. Our chipper's in there, our street sweeper goes in there for the winter, stuff like that, that's public works right now. That's our colder storage area where things aren't always pulled out right away. For us, we have stuff stored in the back of it.
Right, and a lot of that stuff was stored at the original building. They never even had a ton of stuff over there before. Yep. So I don't understand why, when we got room over at the other part. I'm just making my point.
If you guys would like, we can set something up if council would like to visit this.
I would. I'd like to get a visual of what's going on.
I'm all for it, I can run over there, but to your point, if it's a convenience thing, I just don't, see.
And I understand what David's saying.
Yeah.
I understand it's a big building if you only got one, but maybe we just put one door in. You know what I mean? But they never had a problem before moving the stuff around. And the electric department went over there and kind of took it over when it was always the DPWs and there was more room, and then them guys didn't have to move as much stuff around.
I will definitely go take a look with Rico and whoever else wants to take a look, and they can explain it to me like I'm
And
a 4-year-old.
and
We'll go from there.
yeah, and I'm open to it. I just want to see what it looks like, and like I said, apologies. I was out of town and I didn't get to go over there and look at it.
Yeah?
Anytime you schedule with Dan, if Dan's not available, get ahold of me on the public works, get ahold of me, and we'll discuss it anytime you want.
Thank you.
Dave.
Are we adjourning this to the next meeting?
First I'll make sure there's not a motion on the floor. Do I have a motion? I have no motion. Do you want a motion adjourning it, or suspending it till the next meeting? Table it till the next meeting? Do I have a motion on that?
Motion we table till next meeting so we can do some research.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Mararo?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. We'll move on to item number 2, WWTP, White Creek Sewer Pipe Lining.
This was we had 3 projects during the budget process for wastewater to use the RRI money. This is one of those projects that was discussed. Brock is here to give more detail on it. But if you recall, we had 3 capital projects. We're going to do 2 of them this year with that RRI money.
100 grand, 90 grand, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I forgot how much money they had in their total
We'll put 70 in this season,
this year, but the total amount of RRI money was,
probably 95 at that time. I mean, for us, we'll allocate the total amount of like 250 maybe.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, I think the total amount was like 243,
yeah, we were just going to
249,
do 2
something.
projects that were under 100.
There's 263 now.
263. Do I have any questions on this, comments? If not, do I have a motion?
I move to accept the quote from Tunnel Vision in the amount of $10,795 for the White Creek Sewer Pipe Lining Project.
Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Mararo?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Move on to item number 3, DPW tire purchase, grader unit 120.
David's here obviously for this as well. This is another item that we specifically discussed during the budget process and was put in the maintenance line item and increase that line item specifically to cover the cost of the greater tires. You do have a short memo from Rick Triber and 3 quotes. With his recommendation of using pumps.
Do I have any questions or comments? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of new grader tires from Pop Tire Service for a price of $11,014.45.
Support.
Mr. Mararo?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Move on to item number 4, DPW boom flay purchase, sidewalk machine unit 125.
This I know a little less about. This is a maintenance issue that came up. David can speak more frank about what this is used for. It's not for the sidewalk cleaning, but just the same unit that does brushing on alleys and things like that. So David's here to answer questions specifically about that.
So the main boom on, it goes in aerial, it goes above the machine, it reaches up trees, it goes over guardrails, it's the boom that articulates off the front of the machine. We got it, twisted and cracked. Talked to Peterson Welding, they said they could probably fix it, but they don't really, it's on the joint area, they're kind of concerned. So it's 18, I don't know what the price is on that, I didn't see the number. But it's reaching, we do guardrail work, we do alleys, brush trees, limb stuff off the roadways, stuff that we can reach on the road farther. And that's, it bent and just cracked inside there, so we can, you know, it's not repairable. It might not last on that joint where it's flexing all the time, so that's why we purchased it.
And Rick Triber does have his recommendation as a Flint, New Holland at the lowest price for that.
What was, in your opinion, what was the cause of the break? Was it an oops, or was it just a
I think it's
wear and tear thing?
It could be wear and tear and on that cylinder arm, because once it's extended out, there's just one pin and the cylinder arm is holding it. It's got to be about 500-600 pounds over your head. So and it rocks back and forth. And if you back up, it doesn't relieve itself. If you go forward with it, it has a relief that swings back. So we're thinking it got caught one way or the other way, it was rocking and it cracked it right there. And it's heavy enough that it twisted that metal down and opened it.
And how long did we have the current one? Was that the original one that we
That's
bought?
the original one, right?
And ballpark, how long we had it?
I would say good 10 years, 15 years. I don't know how many longer.
Before I came.
It'll obviously be nice to get more out of, I mean, we've got some machinery that's been around for 30-some years, but that whole setup always kind of looked a little, I don't want to use the word fishy, but I was like surprised that machine had an attachment like that put on there.
And that's a flail head just for brushing.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not a roadside anymore. It's only 36-inch flail head on it.
Yeah.
It's only, you know, it's not made for road, it's just a little wider than the bench.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
does mow the brush back.
Yeah. Because I know I had contacted Manager Stoltman and Mr. Ball about some of the trees and brush and stuff that were overlining Chestnut Street. Even in my truck, you know, I kind of have to like pull into this, and I'm thinking about buses and all that stuff that's going to happen when school hits here pretty soon. We don't have
I think we looked into that, we were cutting them down.
Yeah.
I don't know where guys are on it, I was out today, but we gotta cut it, we're gonna chip those
Yeah.
big limbs. So that roadway will be open, we're gonna
Yeah,
work that.
yeah. Radios and things like that with those
Oh, yeah.
aerials on there, it can cause some issues. All right, thank you. I just wanted to know if we're throwing good money after bad or something.
And we can use that flail back, you know, as they grow, you know, it might be too big right now because of the growth of the tree, but if new stuff starts coming up, we can hammer it and feed that back anyway with this.
Gotcha. Thank
Any
you.
other questions? If not, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the purchase of a boom flail from Flint, New Holland for a price not to exceed $2,607.02.
Support.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Mararo?
Yes.
We'll move on to mayor council comments. Brett, do you have any?
I have none, thank you.
Jeff?
Yeah, I do. Just for some of the folks that have been asking again, I kind of brought this up the last time again, but folks are still wondering what's going on. We know we have kind of a hole in our ordinance in regards to overhanging trees from other people's property, right? That it can be damaging your garages, your homes, your, you know, whatever it might be. Grant, I believe that has now been instructed to work on some options and legalities with that. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
at least that's what he told me last week when I talked to him.
Talking about.
So, so just to let everybody know out there that we are trying to come up with some solution here. In the meantime, I would say to be a good neighbor, you might want to try to trim your trees if it's affecting your neighbor's stuff. I know that's a cost and that's an expense, but it is part of being a property owner. But in the meantime, we are trying to come up with something so folks that aren't being good neighbors have some possible relief. Thank you.
Rico?
I want to say I think it was a real good idea to the staff that put out the post and the message about the telecommunications work going around town. I too was being asked questions about it, and
We all
you're complaining to the wrong person kind of thing. I am kind of relieved. I see a lot of the little green towers that were around all of a sudden now are kind of disappearing. So I don't know if some of them were just of a temporary nature, or they're, the one particularly, you know, on my path home in here, there's less of them, so I don't know what happened there. But it did seem like a very large number were popping up. And just overall for the city, you know, it doesn't, I thought it didn't look super great. So I'm glad. I think the impact of them is decreasing, and the fact that we got out there and told people, you know, hey, we hear you, mad at the wrong people kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's good.
That was
Good communication on our part. I had probably more people tell me about, hey, I saw the Facebook message, I was wondering, than actually, you know, had asked me about it directly. So that was good. Thank you.
Are we done doing all the mistakes for that yet?
No, we're getting 20, what was it, on Friday I received 35 more.
Oh,
So they're still in the state of Norway, but they're in different areas. A lot of them are crossing roadways. You notice the speed bump on Curry Road, that came up. There's one on the highway that they got to deal with MDOT with. There's one in Vulcan. And then they also make our own, since we don't have enough potholes in our new blacktop, they're making them for us. There's about eight
I noticed
potholes
that.
I know that we're circulating. We're gonna have the discussion. I know the county road commissions put them at a stop. They can't cross any county roads or do anything until they be on site with the county. They're digging our blacktop. We got a list of them started. They're supposed to come back with a crew separate from them and do this. Well, we're not just gonna put a pothole, we're gonna make them cut it and fill that all the way back up. So I'm gonna make a square or something.
is there something where we can do to, stop it until they,
If they're in their blacktop and that, they don't even address that they're gonna punch a hole in our blacktop. Next thing you find out, you see there's a hole in our blacktop. That's, when they're doing it, I think they're doing it mostly on weekends. Because I
no,
don't see it during the week when they're punching a hole with the machinery. You know, they're working on the shoulders, but.
or
also,
late,
yeah.
late at night?
Or late
Because
at
I
night,
had
right.
people complaining about that too.
Right. Yeah, they're working past 7. I thought our ordinance was up to 7 p.m.
It's a past that,
And they should not be past that. If they're in the city limits, that's a noise ordinance violation.
right? And Curry Road just got done. We had to fix that other spot and now that's done again. So if there's any way possible, we can get a hold of that company. Because I have a feeling when they're gone, you ain't never seen them again.
Good luck. I had trouble on them. They never did the.
No.
To address the pedestals that you were seeing, to put bolts in the ground.
That's what
They're underground bolts that they're putting in. They should have did that a lot, like a Forest Drive area, that should be all bolts. There's areas, Curry Road, they changed up on the hill. There's a few more that we gotta address that, okay, they're gonna get smashed by our snowplows. I mean, they're not far enough off the road.
That's exactly what I was
I mean,
thinking.
if our snowbank is gonna
Yeah.
come off that truck, they're gonna feel, they're just sitting on the ground. They're not anchored, there's no concrete work, nothing.
Yeah, and in my brain, that's what I'm picturing was gonna happen, but then as I saw more and more popping up, I'm like, well, here's another thing I'm wrong about. But that's good to hear.
Yes, and
That
you'll see the bolts.
It was more of a temporary thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's these flush with the ground though, so it looks, you know, aesthetically correct. It doesn't look like a yellow pedestal.
Well, they're gonna be back in and the first snowfall, replacing whatever's connection is in there because it's gonna get uprooted.
If you come back from Green Bay, you see one of the yards in Green Bay coming, the Abrams there, that's the main yard. So it's Wisconsin, Michigan, everywhere. So there's a pile of material sitting there just where it's coming.
Yeah. Oh, sorry to
No,
sidetrack
no,
council
that's
comment there.
Absolutely fine. Thank you, David. And I'm sorry you guys gotta take your whole summer to do mistakes.
Kenny's right though. Working industry in the past, if these guys get out of town, it's gonna be, it's gonna be a hard time getting them to do the restoration. And if you're gonna send them a bill, it's always gonna be a fight, you know? If you do the restoration yourself, so someone to do it. So you guys need to let us know where it's not good.
And we're gonna follow up because we're in fall already, so you're looking at September, August. Before October, they gotta have the roads fixed up because it's not gonna ease the road, so we'll see how that goes. I know the counties, we're dealing with the county with that.
That's good.
And you said the county won't let them on any county roads,
They
right?
have to meet with the county on certain crossings that they're doing, so.
It'll piggyback on that with the
Oh,
county.
yeah, they're pretty good with us on that whole issue.
Thank you.
All right, I wanted to ask you, I think I already know the answer to this, but I'm getting a lot of complaints about the hole by the post office. I don't know if it got fixed.
They were working on it. I saw them there a couple.
Post office parking lot, no,
It's fixed.
It's been fixed by Midwest, was contracted by the post office, whoever owns that.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, the city could do nothing with that. That is federal government property. So I've been asked about it a lot, just so everybody knows.
It's done right, concrete poured around,
Yep.
the basin's been raised.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was out
They
of
were
town,
looking for
so
some
I,
concrete
Yeah.
parts and the manhole cover, so we got a small bill to generate to them. I mean, they were looking for some casting stuff that they needed, so.
yeah, between
But
the
it's-
potholes and the, cable things out in the yard, I'm getting a lot of phone calls, which we could not do anything about. Let's see here.
Either one.
Did we check into the dumpster thing?
For the, which one,
Well, we got,
the ours at Public Works and we have
we have
the-
some apartments who
Yep,
have
that's
them.
where, I'm working on a letter right now that's going out for that.
Okay, I just
And we
don't want
figured
that.
and we figured out the Marion Park one, right, last time.
Yep.
I just don't want that to get forgot about. Good job, guys, with 3 bids. I appreciate that. Makes it a lot easier for me. Make sure you let Mr. Triber know. Appreciate him I know sometimes you can't get them, but when you can get them, I appreciate you guys doing the work to get them. And, was gonna call today, and I was over by the school, and the lines weren't painted at the top, so I was gonna call, but lo and behold, when I came around the school, I seen the lines are being painted.
Yep.
So, thank you for getting that done, I think it's really important.
Yes.
And,
We're gonna do Main Street before snow flies, or?
Not this part that's gonna be torn up here, come September, but we do have a contact now, for street painting or line painting for the other side. The other side, we can look at it this year. I guess I would prefer to wait till June of next summer to have them fresh for building the summer ones. But
When's the project start?
it just got bumped to mid-September and then ending before that October 7th. So they assured me that Main Street will be done by the weekend of Leaf Fair. So
I would hope so.
Good luck.
I would hope so.
One delay will turn into another when you're cutting it that tight.
I know,
You're
and
talking,
that time
you're
is
falling
like
out of town on Friday, or what?
14th. So,
Jeff says don't. I'm gonna write this
Yeah,
down.
And then we'll see.
it's pretty tight.
Do you remember on that bid, it was so long ago and it was put out now, is that just gonna be an overlay, or are they gonna take up the old concrete?
On Main Street,
Yes,
this is supposed to be you're gonna peel it up, and you're supposed to grind it up and take that asphalt away, and then put another 1.5 inch layer down, I believe. I don't know if they're doing 3 or 1.5 inches, I don't know the spec.
yeah, I can't remember how deep, but it is a crushing shape, so they will.
That's all it is, right?
And that material, we're taking that grown up asphalt, we're gonna hold on to that, that's coming to us.
okay, that's a good thing. And was there anything ever asked about, there was, over behind Ortman's, between there and the Veterans Park, do you
I
know?
asked them.
You asked them?
They thought between their schedule, at this time, they didn't think they'd have time to do anything else.
We'll go back here. We talked to them about that alley and around Meadow.
Yep, right now, they don't think they have time to do.
Why did they push it? Because they're busy?
Yeah,
What's the contract say?
It does, that is not included.
yeah.
I know that for sure.
Leif Erickson's first week in October?
October 7th.
Yeah, so.
Wonderful. I think that's all I have for tonight. Dan?
Just to kind of touch back on the Highline, I'm in pretty regular communication with them. They do seem generally responsive when we have issues. I've had citizen complaints that we forwarded onto them that they seem to have resolved, generally speaking. I sent another one today that they said they'd be resolved. The green ones at Pine and Forest there, we were reaching out to them as well for the same concern with the snowfall, pushing snow. We'll see if they're going to do fault underground on that one or not. I'm not certain. But when I do reach out to them, they do respond, and they seem to kind of, when we have requests, they shifted the boxes over where people wanted them more, somewhere in the center of their properties. They asked to have them shifted to the property line, which they seem to have done. So we will keep on them. They've been responsive when they hit the telephone pole, one of those that came down. They paid for that damage right away. We have bills to send them for water usage, and they seem to be keen on paying those quickly. So we'll see how it progresses.
If they don't move those PEDs that are gonna be in danger, we have to definitely get them to sign something. So we're not on the hook for outages.
Right.
If they're in the right of way, we gotta document it all and get them to sign a waiver. That is at their risk that they're leaving them there.
Even some of them are really close to fire hydrants. And like getting a fire hydrant supply line on there, I'm like, whoa, that, you know, I know you can't park by that.
They're within 36 inches or most of them 36 inches here with all their own actually.
Okay.
But you're.
I don't think it'd be an issue because it's just plastic, something that we'll take it off our way into the hopes.
It's even
You
less
know,
than
but I know what you're saying,
Yes.
it's worse than Vulcan, there's one that's really tight, and we had a discussion, they were supposed to move that one.
Okay.
But Dan's right, but we can discuss that with them, tell them, hey, this is too close, we need this moved.
Yeah.
You know?
And we want a good working relationship with them, you know, but there is some things they need to be responsible
And so they generally seem to give, I just sent one today and they got back to me right away.
for.
So
Okay, good.
now they have to take the step to actually do it, but they are responsive.
Okay. Grant?
Nothing, thank you, Madam Mayor.
One other thing, I think this week is the last music in the park. Is it this week or next week?
I'm not positive. Still looking.
All right. Well, remind everybody, music in the park and open air market on Thursday at 5, 6?
Starts,
Music
open
starts at
air
7.
is 6 and the music's at 7.
That's all I have. If nobody else has anything, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion we adjourn.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Mararo?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Meeting adjourned.
What's that?